Imagine a world where your next phone could be powered by an older chipset. This might be the reality for the upcoming Samsung Z Flip 6. In the secretive world of tech development, rumors often offer the first insights into what's on the horizon. And right now, the rumor mill is churning with whispers about Samsung's latest foldable, the Galaxy Z Flip 6. The real mystery? It's all about the chipset. Speculation has been sparked by a pair of Geekbench benchmarks. These benchmarks, tied to what's suspected to be the model number of the Z Flip 6, have revealed a curious detail. One shows the device powered by Qualcomm's latest generation Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, while the other suggests the use of a slightly older Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, a chip that was found in last year's Z Flip 5. This discrepancy has left tech enthusiasts scratching their heads. Why would one phone appear under two different chipset configurations? And why are there two code names associated with these configurations? Pineapple for the new Silicon with 8 GB of RAM, and Kalama for the older chip with 12 GB of RAM. One theory is that Samsung is simply testing the waters. They could be trying out their new hardware with last year's chip, or exploring if using the older Silicon with more RAM might be a feasible and cost-effective option. But there's another, more intriguing possibility. Could Samsung be planning to release two versions of the Z Flip 6, each with a different chipset? This wouldn't be unprecedented. Other phone manufacturers have stuck with older silicon in new phones to reduce costs on models that aren't quite top tier, a strategy that can offer consumers more choice and affordability. Could Samsung be planning to release two versions of the Z Flip 6, or is there a different strategy in play? Let's dive in. Samsung's silence on the matter only adds to the intrigue, but whatever the truth may be, one thing is clear. The Galaxy Z Flip 6 is set to be one fascinating device. As we unravel the mystery of the Z Flip 6 chipset, stay tuned for more insights and analysis. Why would Samsung consider using an older chipset in its upcoming Z Flip 6? There are a few possibilities. This question has been at the forefront of the tech community, especially given recent Geekbench benchmarks suggesting two different configurations for the Z Flip 6. One possibility is that Samsung is simply testing the waters. It's not uncommon for tech giants to experiment with hardware configurations before settling on the final design. By testing the older Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 alongside the newer Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, Samsung could be gauging the performance difference between the two. Another possibility is cost-cutting. The older Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 might be cheaper, and pairing it with a larger RAM could potentially maintain high performance levels while reducing production costs. This would allow Samsung to offer a more budget-friendly version of the Z Flip 6, catering to a wider audience. Talking about offering multiple versions of the same model, it's not a novel concept. Other phone manufacturers have successfully employed this strategy. For instance, Apple has routinely used older A-series chips in their baseline iPhone models, saving the latest and greatest for their Pro and Pro Max versions. Similarly, Motorola released two versions of their Razr foldable in the recent past. They offered a higher-end Razr Plus with a larger outer display, and a more affordable Razr with a smaller display. If Samsung follows suit, we could see a powerful, pricier Z Flip 6 Pro with the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and a more affordable standard Z Flip 6 with the older chipset. However, it's important to remember that this is all speculative. Samsung has yet to confirm any of these possibilities. But whatever the strategy behind the chipset choice ends up being, it's clear that Samsung is not afraid to experiment and innovate. Whatever the reason, Samsung's decision could have significant implications for the future of the Z Flip line. As we wait for more details to emerge, one thing is certain: the tech world will be watching closely. While the thought of an older chipset might be disappointing to some, it's not all bad news. Let's take a moment to dissect this. The use of an older chipset, specifically the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, might initially seem like a step back. But if we delve deeper into the facts, it becomes clear that this isn't necessarily a bad thing. This chipset is a powerhouse in its own right, and it's been the backbone of many high-performing devices, including last year's Z Flip 5. When it comes to performance, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is no slouch. Despite being an older chipset, it still manages to achieve higher benchmarks than its predecessors. This means that even with an older chipset, the Z Flip 6 is likely to deliver a smooth, responsive user experience that's on par with, if not better than, many of its contemporaries. But the benefits don't stop there. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 2's compatibility with some of Samsung's advanced Galaxy AI features is another feather in its cap. These features, which include things like intelligent battery management and advanced camera capabilities, are designed to enhance the overall user experience. They can make your device more intuitive, more personalized, and overall more enjoyable to use. The Z Flip 5, which also uses this older chip, has proven that these features can run smoothly and efficiently, adding value to the overall package. Moreover, the use of an older chipset could potentially make the Z Flip 6 more affordable. By opting for a tried and tested solution, Samsung could potentially keep the costs down, making this innovative foldable device more accessible to a wider audience. So, putting it all together, it becomes clear that an older chipset doesn't necessarily translate to outdated or inferior. On the contrary, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is a proven performer that still has a lot to offer. So, while the chipset might be older, it doesn't mean the Z Flip 6 will be any less capable. In fact, it could open up new possibilities for those who want to experience the world of foldable devices without breaking the bank. Samsung's decision to potentially use an older chipset in the Z Flip 6 could say a lot about the future of its foldable line. Samsung's dominance in the global foldables market is not to be underestimated. Even as its share fell from 80% in 2022 to 70% last year, Samsung's name remains a heavyweight in the foldable ring. This influence is not just about numbers, but also about the trust and recognition the brand has built over the years. It's a reputation that can be leveraged to sell folding display devices, even if they are powered by older chipsets. However, it's not just about the brand's standing. The global foldables market itself is currently not expanding as rapidly as initially projected. Estimates had predicted a rise to 27 million foldables by 2025, but the reality seems to be trailing behind, with approximately 17.7 million foldables sold in 2023. This slower growth could be a factor in Samsung's chipset decision for the Z Flip 6. Opting for an older yet still powerful chipset could be a strategic move to control production costs, particularly if the foldable market's expansion doesn't pick up pace. Samsung might be gearing up to offer a more affordable foldable option to maintain its hold on the market. And let's not forget, even with an older chipset, Samsung's foldables have proven their mettle. The Z Flip 5, for instance, was powered by an older chip, yet it was capable of running Galaxy AI features and delivering a solid performance. So, what does this mean for the future of Samsung's foldable line? It could signal a shift in strategy, a focus on affordability and accessibility, rather than always pushing for the latest, most powerful tech. It's a balance of maintaining performance standards while making foldables more attainable for a wider audience. Samsung's decision will certainly be one to watch, as it could shape the future of the foldable market. So keep your eyes peeled for what the tech giant has in store for its foldable line and the ripple effects it could have on the industry. The Samsung Z Flip 6 is shrouded in mystery, but one thing is certain: it's going to be an interesting ride. As we've discussed, rumors suggest this new foldable might be powered by an older chipset. This could be a strategic move by Samsung, testing its hardware with last year's chip, or trying to cut costs by using the older silicon. The potential impact of this decision could go two ways. On one hand, using an older chipset might not affect the Z Flip 6's performance significantly, as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 remains a powerful processor. On the other hand, it could signal the release of two Z Flip 6 models, following Motorola's footsteps, with a more powerful Pro model and a lower-cost standard one. The future of Samsung's foldable line remains as intriguing as ever. Whatever the case, we'll be here to keep you updated on the latest. Remember to subscribe for more updates on the Z Flip 6 and other tech news. Thanks for watching.